Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe Panther III.
Hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to the last live of today on the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am Joe Panther III, and today, Ringside crew, you've been on a trip with me around the globe and through the woods of Joe's fun trip with my favorite people from the UK. But today is the end of the day, so I figured to bring on this couple. They are amazing. It's a wrestling, you could say a wrestling dynasty. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside podcast welcome to the Blood family. Welcome.
Hello there.
Hi.
Awesome. So if my American-based fans, mainly talking about the East Coast and the West Coast people, if they're not familiar with you two, introduce yourselves.
Hi, I am Bella Blood, and this is my husband,
Thomas Blood.
And we wrestle we live in Newcastle in the northeast of England, and we wrestle with our two sons as well. So a bit of a family thing.
A blood dynasty. As a kid. Awesome, guys. So individually, Bella, who trained you?
We train with Full Tilt Wrestling Academy, FTW, and our trainer is Big Chris. So I've been training there for about 2 years, and you for longer.
Yeah, 3.5, 4 years I've been there. Yeah.
It was actually our youngest son who started first, just towards the end of the pandemic. And yeah, we all ended up there and haven't looked back.
Oh, wow. So what does it feel like to be a family of wrestlers? Does it is it crazy to think that you guys are all in it together now?
I think when he started, I said you were having a midlife crisis.
Yeah, you were a bit of a wrestling widow.
Yeah.
We'd all, myself and the boys, would take off on a Saturday and Sunday to go training and pretty much be out all weekend, and you'd be sat at home.
On my own. Yeah. And I had absolutely no intention of joining them. It was, wasn't interested, hadn't watched it. So I'm probably very different to a lot of the people that you've talked to. Had my brother watched it when we were growing up. I remember seeing it, I'm familiar with it, but I wasn't interested. And yeah, a completely different world now.
So what got you guys into wrestling?
You go first because yours is more normal.
I guess I've always been a fan of wrestling. I mean, I'm 45 now, so I grew up watching wrestling in the 90s. So, I was a big fan of, Hulk Hogan, The Ultimate Warrior, Bret Hart, that generation. So that I got into it when we got something called Sky TV, and they were showing the American wrestling WWF at the time. And yeah, so I was probably 10, 11-year-old, and just the ideal age for it, I guess. And yeah, that got me into it, became a massive fan, and then kind of dropped off in my sort of mid-teens as other things kind of came about. But then back into it during the Attitude Era when I went to university, and it was a bit of a social thing. Myself and my friends would gather together and watch it during the Attitude Era, and that was fantastic time to be a wrestling fan. Such a massive thing, such a massive part of culture at the time. And then just kind of dipping in and out of it since then, over the years as it sort of waxed and waned. But I've always been a big fan. I mean, I had my wife and I met when we were working together back our first jobs out of university, and I had back in the sort of 2000s, a lot of blokes had sort of girly calendars next to their desks, and I had a WWF calendar with oiled up wrestlers next to me, which
in the office.
Yeah, I didn't care.
Awesome. Yeah, and yeah, so they, they started. Our younger son started first, and then Thomas Blood joined him, and then started doing shows. Sat through a show with my eldest son, sat beside me, and he was like, "Dad looks quite cool there." I think I might like doing this as well. So he joined. So the three of them are going, and then it was my lovely friend Tina, who is Big Chris's wife. She got in touch with a few of us women 2 years ago yesterday. It was International Women's Day, and just said, been thinking, why don't a few of us get together? We'll train for 6 months and we'll do a charity show. And I just said yes. Didn't really think about it. Didn't think through at all what I was getting myself into. Started training. Ended up 5 of us doing it. We trained for 6 months, and then we put on this show in Newcastle for a local autism charity, and it was just amazing. It was so lovely to go through that experience with the other girls, to train with them, like from nothing. Like I had been doing very little exercise, and suddenly getting into this environment, I'm so much stronger and healthier, since getting into wrestling. So we did it, and we did the charity show, which was just, fantastic. We had an amazing audience, made a lot of money for a really good cause. And then, unfortunately, the other ladies didn't get the book for it. They did an amazing show, but then dropped off. And I stuck with it. I just, I think because, the 3 of them are doing it. But I found myself, I didn't expect a wrestling club, right, to be like, I thought it'd be like all these big men, all these egos. And it just wasn't like that at all. It was this like amazingly supportive environment, mixture of ages. We train at the same time as our kids. We all train together. There's, myself and Jessie Quinn, who you've spoken to, 2 women.
Yes, Jessie Quinn. Good person.
But often I'm there by myself without them. Feel completely comfortable and supported, encouraged, and I'm not saying how old I am, but I can do things I never thought I'd be able to do. And I think that part of it for me, just to be able to push myself physically, to be able to lift. Like, I've been training for about a year with a PT. He's on Insta, PT James. And I've gotten to the point with his help of being able to lift I can get most of the guys on my shoulder now. I tried him.
Like lifting a bag of cement, you could say.
Working up to it.
I felt like my legs were dissolving.
Oh, God.
You topped out at about 90 kilograms, didn't you? And then you tried me, and that was just a step too far. But we'll get there.
Yeah, it's but that's like, I'm quite short, so
I'm 5'1", so you're in the same boat as me, ma'am.
I'm just under 5 foot. So haven't looked back, and absolutely loving it, just being part of it and having the opportunities that I've had over the last 2 years.
Yeah, we do have an amazing supportive group at FTW.
Yeah, completely.
Got some people in the chat. Woohoo! Shout out.
That's our PT.
Hey, PT, thank you, man. Thank you for keeping these people safe.
He trains both of us, so yeah, fantastic.
Definitely, wrestling doesn't only include wrestlers, ring announcers, and commentary. PT is the other ones. The trainers are the ones that make you the future stars of this business. You want to come on the podcast? Just hit me up on Instagram. I'll definitely have you on. I love interviewing everybody. And it's funny because you said you just mentioned Miss Quinn. I had her on the podcast not that long ago, and she's such her character's, mean, but I guess I got it out of her to be a little sweeter to me. I guess I was like, in that picture, I gave her the bottle of perfume. I was like, here, be nice to me. I'll give you this. I'm a nerd. I'm like, here, I'll give you a present if you be my friend. And she was like,
she's nice. She lets me chuck her around.
Yeah. She looks like is she taller than you, or is she like? Is she
taller than me? The children are taller than me.
I'm 5'1", so every wrestler that I ever meet in the picture is always like Joe, like the girl guy, just like towering over me. I'm just like, and then like, I'm just like, don't. I the first female wrestler I ever met that I interviewed, she was a baby like your height, Bella, and I told her, I had to act a little friendly with her because I screwed up her name like twice during the podcast. Not my fault. Sometimes I screw up on things. My spelling's bad. She was crouching down, and I said, Dad, hold on. I said, girl, don't crouch. You're about the same height as me. Don't play that game. And she was like, I took her. She didn't realize it. I snatched her. I was like, girl, busted. Don't be crouching when you're short. Oh, yeah.
I usually, when we've done shows, just a bit of a joke, I measure in at 4'11.8, and we did the last FTW show, and I was back upstairs after the match and stuff, and a member of the audience she came up and said, "Are you really 4'11"? I'm like, "You're looking at me, yeah." 0.8 though. Remember the 0.8.
There's another female wrestler that I've had on the podcast. She was one of my good wrestling friends for a while. I haven't spoken to her in a while, and she left the business to do tattooing. Shorty, she's about that height too, so it's okay. She's really cool. She wrestled for like Coventry Pro and a bunch of other ones also. So this question's like for the both of you. I see the championship belt in the background. Do you guys ever look for like a promotion that would have like a intergender tag team to become tag champions together?
I mean, we've never actually tagged together, have we? I mean, we're due to tag together.
We're due to tag together, and I've tagged with our son Drogo Blood.
Yes, you have.
I have tagged with him.
But yeah, we've never actually tagged together. Yep. So that on April the 26th, the next FTW show will be the first time that we've been a team, the Bloods. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. That'll be great fun.
Yeah. Then I guess you're gonna have to get like blue gear to match your wife. She has.
Well, I don't know.
Can you see him in that navy blue gear? I can't. I can see him rocking it. I can see him rocking it, right?
Yeah, we could get you the match and leg warmer things.
Yeah. Get a light blue hat. Like there you go. When you turn around, she turns around and you just fling the hat like.
I could make you full on match and ring. I made my own ring gear, so
you have to pick the theme song, so he gets really mad when it comes out. It's the Smurf theme. La 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 la. And it's like, you're both little. So like, how would you pick this theme? That's the closest thing I can find that match us.
I mean, we do have quite contrasting kind of like personalities when we wrestle, don't we? Quite different. Even though we're both currently, we wrestle a variety of face and heel depending on what promotion we're wrestling on and how they want us to present ourselves. But in FTW, where we train, we're both face but very different.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a 90s fun vibe going on.
Love that.
Come out with those sticks and yeah.
I'm a 90s baby, so that fits me like 100%. If you came to the States, I'd be rocking whatever you had at the March table, the band. I'd be like, what do you got? I'll be wearing it and I'll be supporting you 100% in that ring. So when you say you're a 90s referenced wrestler, like what would you say would be your 90s? If you had to pick a theme song from the 90s to have as your song, what would be your 90s theme song?
For like entrance music?
Yeah.
I don't know if it would have been popular, but I chose a 90s song as my entrance music. So I'd come out to a song called Forever Young, a 90s version by a band called Interactive. I don't know if that would have I don't know if it would have been out in the US at the same time, but it's something that I remember from that era, and it just makes me happy, and it's a nice bouncy tune to
it's very sort of ravey, isn't it?
Yeah.
Come out with the big fluffy leg warmers, chucking glow sticks around. So,
yes. Throwing frozen ices at people because that's a 90s thing. What other 90s candies could you throw in the crowd that won't be expired by now? Oh, those gums, the ones that come in the little things that everybody used to like, the juicy ones, juicy fruits. Throw those in the crowd. Oh my gosh, there's so many 90s candies that still. Wait, here we go. What kind of 90s candies that are still around today that you could find in the UK, find everywhere that you can't get enough of, that you love?
chocolate for me.
Just any type of chocolate.
Well, no, like our type of chocolate. No,
I'd like to remind you that your PT is listening.
It is. I don't eat very much of it. Actually, the one time I lived in Canada for a year, back when I was 21, and I barely ate any chocolate because it was all I couldn't get the stuff I was used to, and it just didn't taste the same. So
yeah, there is a distinct difference between what you call candy and what we would class as candy.
Yeah, it's probably better for me.
Yeah. Stay away from the bad stuff, kids, because if you're training like these two, you don't want to mess something up for yourself.
We're just having chicken and rice, aren't we?
Yeah, and also your PT is like right there listening, sitting in the front row like this.
Yeah. You'd be checking my macros.
checking your text message. He's like, next time you at practice, you're doing like 50 laps. 50 squat thrust laps. So the day of a show for you guys, do you guys ever have to like pack your like travel bag with the gear like the day before or the few days before, or is it always like a process that you guys already know what you're bringing with you?
Depends if it ever gets unpacked. Quite often.
For you, it probably depends where you're going as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been further afield.
I tend to I just have a suitcase that's packed with all my stuff, and I only just chuck my knee pads in. It's got everything else in. Like my ring gear and my ring boots and everything, and I'm good to go.
Okay. How do you guys? I asked this to the last guest I had on today, but I'll ask you guys anyway because I know you're a family and like families do things differently than other people. When it comes to washing your gear, like after you use it, do you guys just wash them like regular clothes? Like I wash my laundry. Or do you guys wash them you have a different process to keep the gear looking fresh?
So I wear a singlet, and I had it made by M2M, which are a company here in the UK who make ring gear. And it came with very specific instructions on how to wash it. And I have to hand wash it with hand soap. It can't go in a washing machine. You can't use detergent. You can't tumble dry it. You can't do anything. You've just got to hand wash it with hand soap, and that's it. So that's all I do. I just stick it in the sink and fill it with water and put some hand soap in and wash it and then dry it. Right. If I remember to wash it, if I'm wrestling multiple shows in a weekend or one weekend and then wrestling the next weekend, sometimes it doesn't get washed, and I'll open my bag the day of the show and go, damn it, I forgot to wash my gear.
Yeah.
So air it out and apologize.
Apologize to your opponent. So how about yourself, Bella? Like, what do you do for your gear?
Mine just goes in the washing machine. I made my own.
Okay.
So I know that it's not going to shrink or anything. Yeah.
How did you go to like the sewing store and like measure out and stuff like that?
I went to a fabric shop and basically bought the brightest lycra that they had. And I couldn't. If you like look for a pattern for like a sewing pattern for wrestling ring gear, you know there's not going to be much comes up. I used like tracing paper and I traced around some stuff I already had, so a sports bra and a set of bikini bottoms. I traced around them and made my own pattern, and then watched a YouTube video on how to sew a bikini, and now I have ring gear.
Oh wow, that's cool. Like that's what like my mom sews. So I wanted to hear because I know people that do that. There was a girl named Izzy B that was on the podcast. She was from Ohio. Hey, Izzy. She makes gear, and I wanted to see how you did it differently than she does. She measures herself, and then she'll like decide how she wants to make it this time. She's really girly, so her stuff is pink and has bows on it and lace and stuff like that. And I'm like, how does she does hers these? I speak English good stuff, Joe. Like,
well, I kept the pattern that I cut out. It fit, so if I want to make more, I can. It's fairly straightforward.
Is there any new ones coming in the works, Bella, or are you just gonna keep the blue for a while?
I don't know. It takes a little while to
I think
to do.
we were
so.
we were wrestling on Friday down in Oldham, and I
Yeah.
think you said you took 3 different sets of ring gear.
I did. Yeah, I did take.
So
a few
we
things.
don't even know what she's going to wear the day of the show.
Well,
So
I do. It needs a bit of fixing because I was in the ring wrestling and I put my hand behind my back, and the bottoms were further down than they should have been. So it definitely needs a bit more elastic.
Oh no!
But I know how to do it because I made it. So
You're a sewer.
yeah, it needs fixing before I wear them again.
Is there any other places in the UK that you guys want to travel to or abroad that you have not been to yet?
So I guess for myself, I'm very aware of my age and the time I've got left. So I am just trying to squeeze in as much as I can. So any opportunity I get, I'm incredibly grateful for. So far, I've managed to wrestle in England and Wales. I would love to do the full set and get Scotland and Northern Ireland in. And then if I can get to wrestle abroad, that would be amazing. But, I'm just grateful for every opportunity I get at the minute.
Yeah, and same here. I mean, it was 2 years yesterday that, I got given the opportunity to train for that charity show, and just incredibly grateful for the opportunities that I've had. I mean, yeah, we were down across in Oldham on Friday, both wrestling. That was amazing.
Yeah, wrestling for the Squared Circle Wrestling, which is run by Marty Jones, who's a very famous British wrestler from back in the day. I think he was the British mid-heavyweight champion for 7 years. Around the time he had sort of Big Daddy, Giant Haystacks. So, I mean, he's a legend. So it was an absolute honor to be invited down to wrestle for his promotion.
Awesome.
Yeah. Any opportunity we get going forward.
Yeah.
The same with the boys that, we're just, grateful for the chances that we've had and anything that comes before we're too old to do it anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, in closing, guys, if my fans want to follow you guys on social media, how can we find you?
Well, on Instagram, you can search for us. So myself, it's Thomas Blood Pro Wrestler. You just type that in, you should find me.
Mine's Bella Blood Wrestler on Instagram.
We're also on Facebook as well.
Yeah, less active.
Less active on Facebook, but yeah, Facebook and Instagram.
If anybody wants to pick up any 8x10s or like merch, T-shirts, or anything, if you guys have any of that, if they want some.
So I've got T-shirts, but they're not currently available online. They're with me when I go to shows. They go on the merch stand. I haven't got any promo shots that it's something I'm thinking about getting to put on the merch stand at shows, because I've been asked a few times for them. And I've got a couple of cool pictures from a show I did in Leeds a few weeks back, which I'm thinking of getting printed up. But currently nothing available online, so you'd have to come and watch me.
You gotta go see them live, fans. It's okay.
She's my wife's full of cold, so she's go and have a brief coughing fit.
Sorry. Okay, Bella, I understand. I was waiting for you to come back so we could do our virtual selfie at the end of the show. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate you coming on the podcast. I'm Joe Panther III.
I'm Bella Blood.
I'm Thomas Blood.
And we will catch you in the next one.